everyone, this is Louie and welcome to Louie Loves. Raise your hand if Paris, France is your number one dream destination. And if it is, I want you to stay tuned because this video is for you. On this video, I'm going to give you some tips on how to travel safely and on a budget in Paris, France. I know, you'll probably tell me that Louie, this is not the right time to talk about travels, let alone overseas traveling. But guess what? I am hopeful that pretty soon this pandemic will be over and that our lives will go back to normal. But before we go into the subject, I invite everyone to like and subscribe to my channel, Louie Loves, for more videos to come. It's not my favorite and not even in my top 5 favorite cities in Europe. Maybe because we got robbed in Paris. Yes, we did. And we spent one whole day at the US Embassy in Paris just trying to get home the next day. It's probably the reason why it's not on my top 5 favorite cities in Europe. But before sharing with you my robbery experience in Paris, I want to give you some tips on how to stay safe and save a little in the city of love. My number one tip is to book your transportation from the airport to your hotel in advance. That way, you know exactly how much you're gonna pay for your transportation. And I went to Paris for the first time in 2015, and by that time we were so rookies when it comes to overseas traveling, and we didn't plan ahead. So when we arrived at the airport, we just went to the taxi station and asked like how much would it cost from the airport to Montmartre, and they said that it was through Meter. And I said, well, that's okay because Montmartre is just 30 minutes away from the airport, like that, 30 to 40 minutes at the airport, depending on the traffic. So we got in, and roughly 5 minutes of driving with this driver, he said that he needed to stop at the gasoline station because he was running out of gas. And I said, okay, let's just make it quick because we're in a hurry, we're tired. And he was speaking broken English, but we can still understand each other. I was speaking broken French, he was speaking broken English, and we can understand each other pretty decently. And so he stopped by at the gasoline station and he said, well, I needed to go use the restroom. And I said, okay, just make it quick. And then by the time that he left, I saw that because it was he was finished fueling his car, and then he turned on the engine and the meter was still on. He went to the bathroom and came back 50 minutes later, almost an hour. I was fuming inside the taxi and I was like, what in the world? And he when he came back, he said, well, there was a long line to go to the toilet, so I needed to go. And so I look at Ben and I said, when I needed to go and I had to wait 50 minutes to actually go, guess what? I'm gonna crap my pants. And I'm like, that was a lie. And that was unacceptable. And he was just laughing and smirking. And I was like, just so angry. And my husband said, it is what it is. You just need to, calm down. And we just deal with it. And so I was fuming. And finally we got to our hotel. And guess how much he demanded? He demanded for 250 euros because he said that was what the meter says. And I'm like, yes, because guess what? You took off for 50 minutes and we didn't know where you're at. And then he said, no. And you needed to give me tip because I carried your luggages. So he demanded for like almost 300 euros from me and Ben. And just to avoid, confrontation and just like the drama, I just gave him 300 euros. And I was so mad, but at the same time, I didn't want to deal with it anymore. So I said, I can earn that money, so here you go. God bless you. I was so mad. So please make sure that you always book your transportation in advance to avoid this kind of headache. Tip number 2, buy a Paris pass in order to get around the city. So you can easily hop on the metro and the bus, and it doesn't work in taxis, but it works in metro and buses. So public transportation, it's good. So make sure that you buy their Paris pass. Tip number 3, always book your attraction tickets in advance to avoid long lines. And if you follow my tip number 2, which is getting a Paris pass, some museum tickets are included there and you can get in for free if you have Paris pass. So it's really good to have one. Tip number 4, carry small cash to pay for little things that you see on the streets of Paris, and use your credit card to pay for bigger things. It is safer that way. Number 5, before you actually go on your vacation, I encourage everyone to always learn about the city or the place, any place in the world that you want to visit, to learn about that city and read up on all the scams that are happening in that place, because there would be plenty. And for you to avoid these scammers, the only way to do that is to educate yourself. So make sure you read up about the place that you were visiting and learn about their tactics and their modus operandis. So make sure that you do that to save yourself from any headache. So the last time we were in Paris, it was 2019, and we had 3 incidents that happened on the metro. The first incident, so it was with me. We were on the metro, and before we actually reached the next station, this guy started speaking to me, and then I was like wondering why was he speaking talking to me. I don't even know him. And then before I know it, because I was holding my purse, before I know it, I felt a hand in my purse. And so I look at the girl next to me, a little girl. So you wouldn't expect for her to be a thief. And then the minute that I recognized what she's doing, the door opened up and they darted off. The second incident on the metro was when my mother-in-law caught a teenage boy opening the bag of my father-in-law, the swing bag that was right in front of him. So my father-in-law was totally oblivious of what was going on, and since my mother-in-law was a lot shorter than him, she was able to see what was happening, and so she slapped the hand of the boy, and she's like, no, that is bad, don't do it. And so by the time that it happened, the door opens up and the teenage boy was able to exit. Like, nobody can catch up on him. And I want you to understand that these scammers do their act when you're about to reach the station, because they're waiting for that moment to open for the gate to open so they can exit right away. So that's when they do their act. And for the third incident on the metro, these scammers succeeded on their goal, because they were able to pickpocketed my husband, and everything that he has was stolen. We tried to figure out when did it happen or how did it happen, but it was so quick and they were so good at what they do, and we're not able to know how did it happen or when did it happen, because his wallet was actually inside his coat. It was inside his coat, and they were able to get through that coat without being noticed. So my husband is so sad. It happened on his birthday, and the morning before we actually go out, I gave him his birthday cash so we can go to Galleria Lafayette, and so he can go shopping, and I can go shopping too, because I told him that day that I want to go to Louis Vuitton flagship store and actually buy something from the store, but he got pickpocketed, and I was so sad, and I will feel very rude to him if I still pursue my Louis Vuitton plan. So I aborted that to show respect to him, because it's just sad, and we just spent the whole day at the US Embassy trying to get a new passport for him so we can go home. And listen to this. We got to the US Embassy at 9 o'clock in the morning, and when we got there, the security guard said, "Are you here to get a temporary passport because you got robbed?" And I said, "Yes, sir." And he's like, "Get in line, you're number 12. And they're not even open yet, and we're number 12. And so when we got there, we met several families who got robbed in their hotel, in their B&B, and at the Eiffel Tower, and at the Champs-Élysées. I don't know if I say it right. Sorry if I butcher how you pronounce that word. But yes, lots and lots and lots of horrible stories. And so we're exchanging stories to this family. And we got pickpocketed on our last day in Paris. This family got robbed on their first day. I remember a couple and 3 children a couple and 3 children, and they were having a meal at the Eiffel Tower. And so the mom has her bag with her all the time, and so she carries all their cash and all their cards and all their passports in that bag. And guess what? She's at the Eiffel Tower actually, and since she's at the Eiffel Tower, she feels more relaxed. She said, well, guess what? We're at the Eiffel Tower. She can probably, she's thinking, I can probably put down my bag and take a picture by the window, basically the glass window. And so they did. And as a family, they take selfies like that. And when they got back to their table, the bag is gone. And all their cards were gone, all their money gone, and everything was gone on their first day. And it was their dream vacation. The mother told me that they saved so much money for that vacation, and that was their first day. They just arrived. They literally just arrived, went to the Eiffel Tower, and got robbed. How awful is that? More case that I remember was the Airbnb case. So it was a family of 3, and the lady came with her husband and her daughter, and they travel for business. So she's going to meet she's going to present for her company, and so she thought that, hey, it's a good idea to bring my husband and my daughter with me because they'll be paying for my accommodation, so might as well tag along my husband and my daughter so they will experience Paris. And so they arrive, and then they settled for a little bit and went out after like 2 hours of resting. So they went out, and when they came back to their Airbnb, they found out that their apartment was ransacked, and their luggages were stolen, and their passport were there, their money was there, and her laptop was gone. And so she was very frantic because she needed to do a presentation for her company, to do a business with another company based in Paris. And so she was like, I'm so scared right now because I don't want to get fired because of this situation. But good thing that her boss understood the situation, and she was guaranteed and assured that she will not get fired because it was not really her fault. Like, there were bad people out there, and the embassy people said that it was one of their modus operandi, like by that time, that these scammers like rent an Airbnb and actually made copy of their keys, because in Paris, some Airbnbs or some hotels, they still use the old keys and not the card keys. So when they still have the old keys, they make copies of those and actually go back to the room and rob people. And that was one of the scams in Paris by that time when we were there, and it was horrific and it was very sad because Paris is such a beautiful city, and when you hear stories like this, it kind of makes you like turned off, like be wary of the place, because it doesn't sound safe, but everywhere you go, things like that happen. So it depends on us. Like we need to take the safety precautions wherever we go, and we need to educate ourselves about the place that we are going to, and the in and outs of the traffic, and educate ourselves when it comes to, you know, the scams that are happening and how to avoid them. So knowledge is power. Make sure that you always educate yourself wherever you go, because it's always good to know. That's it, everyone. I hope you learned a thing or two from my story, and I hope that you enjoy watching this video, and I hope that you like and you subscribe to my channel, Lulu Loves. Until we see you again, thank you for watching. Bye.